And this is the agenda. We will start with the demo right away of the web and Business Central, and then I have some other information towards the end, and then the Q&A. And today, some things that I hear from time to time when I speak to you guys is that you don't fully know how the web looks like for your approvers. So I will do a short walkthrough of some of the basic functions, and then we will look at the administration or the admin part for you to have admin permissions, and then a few details in Business Central. So let's open the web. Okay, so here we have the web. The version right now that we have is in the year 2025, so it starts with 25.2. This is the landing page, the home page of the web. On the left side here, you can click on the menu to open it more, or you can have it as it is. Also, here you have the inbox. You have your documents that is due, and future documents, and recent and on hold. And in the recent folder, you have the documents that you have been handling in the last 30 days. Here you have replacer. So you can see if you are a replacer of someone, or if someone else is replacing you, and you can also add a replacer here. So you can use all companies, or you can choose if it's for some of them. And then you add who should be your replacer, and then the dates, and click on add. On the right side here, you have your welcome page. So you have a few tips and tricks of things that you can do in the web. You also have a link directly to the manual, our online manual for the web. And here you can click if you want some more options of what to see. You also have a direct link to the news, so you can see what improvements we have done in the latest release. On the top part, you have the search function. So if you click here, you get your search criteria. As you can see here, you have a bookmark. It's blue right now, meaning that these search criteria are always going to be there when I open the search criteria. If you want more search criteria or want to take them away, you can, if you want to take them away, take away the bookmark, or if you want to add, you click on the plus sign, choose which one that you want to use, and then you click here, and then it will be there the next time. Also, let's say that you want to save a search. It's a search that you do often, so you might want to do it again. So then you click on the little clock here, the history. And here I have a saved search. So when you do a search, it will look like this, except for that this will not be blue. So if you click on this, you bookmark it by making it blue then. And then you can only click, you just have to click here to open the search. If you have admin permissions, then you can change which columns should be displayed here in the inbox, because I'm in the inbox right now. And I will show you shortly how you can do this. However, your users can also choose to hide or display certain columns as well. And to do this, they hover over the columns, and then you can see it's 3 dots that pops up. Then you click there, and you can change the width of the column, but you can also click on show, and then you have the options that you have chosen as admin or default, and then you have hide if you want to hide the column as well. A new thing is also that you can drag the line here, so you can make the page smaller or bigger depending on what you want to see. And you can also do this in the inbox or when you open a document, as well. So let's say that we are going to open and approve a document. So I'm opening this document. You can easily, if everything is okay, you can approve it by clicking here on the top, but maybe you have more lines, then you can click on line action here. Then you have a little menu, so you can, depending on your permissions, reject or forward or add approvers and so on. But if you want to then approve the whole document, just choose the option up here. You also have the menu here to, for example, reject or put on hold and so forth. You can also change the view. So if you click on these dots, you can choose side by side. Then you get the inbox here and then the document. If you choose full screen, you get the option that I had first. And then you can also expand or collapse the lines, depending on where you want the lines. So if a user needs to split a line, they can enter the amount that they want to keep on the line. You can also do it like this. So I know that it's 100 plus 500, and then I push enter. Then I get it all calculated, and the number pops down to the next line. And then once you have finished splitting a line, you always click on this plus sign. Otherwise, you won't be able to move on in the process of approving the document, for example. You can also copy values. So let's say that I want to copy the value from this line. So then I click here, and all of the values get a little dot. So it means that it's all marked. Then I click on copy down here. And then I want to paste this to this line. So I mark that line and push paste, and then you can see that it's there. Now I had a different number amounts up here. That's why it popped out like this. So that's why it's a difference there. But so you can fully do whole lines, or you can do specific values if you want to. To see the names of the approvers on the line, right now you can see it's only pictures here of us. So instead of seeing the pictures or images or maybe initials, if you have that, you click here. Then you get the full name. You can also control this through a setting in the administration settings, and I will show you how soon as well. If you send a message with the invoice or the document, you can see them up here. If you send a direct message to someone, then you have the chat here on the first page. So you can see unread and read. So if you tag a person or your approver, then you will see it here. You will also see it on the document here, but maybe you have not tagged the person, then the messages is still available here. So let's go to the settings. So on the top left here, I have some settings. So I have settings and then admin settings. So let's start with the settings here. It's individual settings. So this is just for me when I log in. So I can choose which language and formatting language. And then under general, I can change some things. Like if I want the theme and layout to be dark, loose, or compact, for example. And then here you also have an option to show a drop-down menu on click in text box when, for example, a GL account. If you want it to be a roll-down or drop-down menu, and then you click here. And then we have the admin settings. And this is a completely new page for those with admin permissions. And there are quite a few settings here, so I will go through some of them. And the settings you make here applies to all of your users. So that's important to remember. It's not only for you. So on the first page here, you have little tabs here. And on the first page here, you have general. So you can first choose, for example, number of decimals here. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you have a button here. So ExFlow Web periodically synchronize the settings with BC. So if you notice that a setting hasn't taken effect yet, or to ensure that the settings are in line with BC, you can always click on this one. If we scroll down a little bit more, then you have something called welcome message here. So you can set a welcome message for your users, which will appear when they log in. And you can also upload a picture here, maybe your company logo or something like that. If we go to the next one, language and translation, you have something here called default language. So if you get a new employee who will be using the web, the language you set here will be their default language. So they can then change the language themselves in their personal settings. And if you don't select anything here, the language will be based on the user's browser settings. And then you have translate and change labels here. And in ExFlow Web, you have the flexibility to change most of the application's labels. So this includes both predefined labels and those coming from BC. So first you start by choosing what language it is. And then you can either, if you know the text, use the override text, or you can click on show and hide over here, and you have predefined labels. So then you choose here and then save. And then on the bottom here, you can see all of the labels that you have modified. If we go to inbox and search, this is everything that you see in the inbox and search then. And here you can decide whether your approvers should, what columns or they should see. Let's say it like that. And here, either you choose to show them or you can also lock them. So here you can choose that some should be locked. They should not be able to hide them. But otherwise, they will be able to hide them if it's only show. You can also click on add here and add more columns. And then you need to know the dynamic field name. And then always remember to click on update on the right here when you make a change. And let's go to approval view. And the first option here, invoice forward for all users, means that you remove the ability for all of your users to forward documents. And this also applies to those who have permissions to forward documents. So then you take that away from all of your users. And then you have hold comments. And what this means is that normally you would need to write a comment when setting a document on hold. However, with this setting, you don't need to write that comment. You can simply set the document on hold. And then we have document fields. And on the page where your users approve documents, there's a box that you can add more information. And the box is called more fields. So let's go to the document to see this. So it's up here, more fields. And if you click on this, you open all the information. So here you can decide what should be shown there. You can also add more. If you click add here, another field will pop up, and then you click on edit. And then you choose the field in the scroll down here. And then when you're done, you click on update on the right. And then let's go to lines. So if we scroll down a bit here, we have something called show and hide approvers. So the default setting is that it's shown. So you will see the approvers on the line. And as you saw, I had to click on a page to see the names. And here you decide if the users should be able to see it or not. So let's say that you hide it, then you will only see the pictures, for example, and then your users can always open, like I did, to see the names and who is in the approval flow. But then the next time when they log in, they won't be able to have it open as they did. So you decide here what it should be like the next time they log in, you could say. And then if we scroll down a little bit more, we have something called delete rules. And this is a new settings with the latest release. And the default is that your users cannot delete the original lines that you send to them. It is also set so that if they would split a line, like create a new line and then click save, they cannot delete that line afterward. They click on save. So however, with this setting, you can bypass this. So if you want your users to be able to delete the lines, such as those with account or item or resource, then you here set in what company they should be able to do that. And then it's original lines and also the lines that they have created themselves and pushed save. And under here, we have a new feature as well, coding lookup filter configuration. So currently, if you enter a value in a column, you must start typing the value from the beginning if you should start the search for your value. And with this feature, you can type the value, for example, in the middle if you choose contains here instead. And then maybe you have a number and in the middle it's 4, 5, 6, 7, but before that it's P and 0, 0, 0, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. If you push contains, you only have to write 4, 5, 6, 7, and the system will look for that value. And then we have AI, and it's empty here, and it's empty for you guys as well right now. It's not available right now. It is under development and will be available later on. And if you want to read more about it, you can find more information in our documentation platform. It looks like this, so you can read a little bit more about it. And I will send you the link in the email later today. And then we have export and import. So for those of you who work with multiple companies and want the same settings across all of them, you can export the file here with the settings, and then you can upload it to another company. So for example, let's say that you've set up a new test company and you configure the settings here, and then you want to apply those settings to another company. You download the file here, and then you upload it in the company you want. So then you don't have to manually configure all the settings over and over and over again. So that's it on the web. Let's move into Business Central. So now you have some insight on how it looks like for your users, as well as what you can do if you have admin permissions on the settings there. So let's take a look at the approval status a little bit more, just a few details. So basically, you can see the status of the documents on 3 places, you could say. So up here, you see the status of the whole document. It's active, it's ready for posting, and so forth. But then if you move down, the document have most of the time several lines. Here you can see the status as well. So you can see that some of the lines are active, but one is rejected. If you click on that line, you can always see the details of the users and who rejected it and so on. And there is an option to bring forth columns. So I brought them forth, most of them here just to show you, but you have the option to choose if you want to see if there is a comment in the discussion panel, on the approval line, if rejected lines exist, if there's any lines on hold. And let's say that you have a lot of documents and you want to see the documents that has rejected lines. Then you can always click here and filter and then bring those forth. And then when it comes to the chat and comments, you can send and view comments in the fact box here on the right and in the discussion panel. So this is where you write sentences that you want to bring with the document. You can write notes here, but you can also then tag a person. And you cannot delete the comments you write here. It will follow the document, so it's good to know. And when you tag the person, I showed you where it's seen in the web, but you can also set up notifications. So the user will receive either an email and or a notification in Business Central if they work there as well. And you do this per user in ExFlow Users. So here you can see email reminders, and here you can see discussion panel. So if this user is tagged in comments and you have clicked this one, then they will receive an email. If the user is tagged and this one is ticked here, then it will also receive a Business Central notification. But it's important to know that then they need to work in Business Central for access there as well. You can also see here on the user card, the web permission role, what permissions they have in what company. And I will also show you what the different permissions can do on the PowerPoint, so you will get that soon as well. On top of this, you can also add and remove columns on the web in ExFlow Setup. You can lock them if you don't want the users to be able to do anything in them, but you want them to be visible. And if you want more information about this, you can check out our documentation platform, or you can also contact your support for help with this. Another thing, a last thing here is that something else that can be useful is to use coding rules or denying coding rules. And with these, you give users access to what they can and cannot do when, for example, if you give them permissions to be able to edit on a line. And I will include a link with more information about this in the email that you will receive later on. So that was it for the web and Business Central. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. So let's look at some other information. It's 2 slides on this. So one of them is web permission roles. So as I just showed you on the user card, you add a permission per company. And there are 4 permission roles. You can add approver. Then they can approve, reject, or set a document on hold. And then you can add power, which is the same as above, but you can also forward. You can add or change coding, for example, for amount or dimension. And then you have super, is the same as above, but you can also see all approved documents in ExFlow history. And then you have admin, it's same as above, but then you can also change those settings that I showed you under administration, and that applies to all approvers in ExFlow Web. The last thing I want to share with you today regarding settings is to highlight rejected and overdue documents. So you can find this under escalation in ExFlow Setup. So if you scroll down, you will see the escalation part here in the middle. And what this feature does is highlight the lines in approval status as red if someone rejects a document or if a document is overdue. So you can specify how many days before due date the document should be marked under number of overdue days before highlight, or you can enter 0 if the document should be marked on the due date. So then it makes it a little bit more easier for you to see in the approval status what documents that might need some extra attention.